The scariest thing about abusive relationships is by the time you realize it's abuse, you've already started convincing yourself that it's normal. So, here are 5 early signs of physical abuse to watch out for before you get in too deep. Number one, they drive aggressively when they're angry and they don't care if it scares you. Slamming the brakes, speeding, swerving. If they're willing to risk your safety to make a point, that's not just a tantrum, that's a threat. Number two, they punch walls, slam doors, throw things near you, but not at you yet. And they'll always say, I'd never hurt you, but your body already flinches around their anger. And violence that almost hits you is meant to control you. Number three, they grab your arm, they block a doorway, they restrain you during arguments. And maybe it was just once. Maybe they say, I was trying to calm you down. Your nervous system knows better. If somebody has to use physical force to make a point, that point is fear. Number four, they corner you during a fight, get in your face, follow you room to room. You try to walk away and they won't let you. Suddenly, you're arguing in a bathroom with no exit. And this is about power, not communication. Five, they joke about hitting someone else or you. Maybe it's an ex, maybe it's in a fight, maybe it's followed by a, you know, I'd actually never do that. But once the words are said, you can't unhear them. So threats disguised as jokes aren't jokes, they're blueprints for the future. Physical abuse rarely starts with a black eye, a bruise. It starts with fear, a very confusing, quiet fear. And by the time you know you're unsafe, you're already in love with the person who made you feel that way. And you don't have to wait for it to get worse to walk away, because the earlier that you trust your gut, the easier it is for you to reclaim your peace and get out of something that could have been very traumatic later down the line.
I've been a night shift cop in one of the biggest cities in the United States for 8 years, and this is a very important PSA for you ladies. If you're with a guy who is unnecessarily violent towards others, he's gonna be violent with you. He's never just your violent guy. He's a violent guy. This also covers violence with objects or verbal violence. So if he's a wall puncher, if he's a road rager, if he picks fights with random people, if he's verbally abusive to others, you're gonna get your turn. The only exception I would say is if he's violent for work. Let's say he's a professional fighter, maybe a cop, or he's in the military. Then you might have a chance. But even as a professional violent man myself, I'm gonna tell you to date cops with a bit of caution. So yeah, stay away from the wall punchers.
Hi, domestic violence therapist here. I want to talk about the act of throwing things and punching walls or punching doors during a fight, and why that is domestic violence and why it is a violent act, whether or not anyone actually hits you directly. When an abusive person punches that wall or throws that dish, what they are communicating to you is, look what I could do to you. Look at the way that I could break you if you made me mad enough. And what we know about this act of like punching a wall is that it will only satisfy that offender for so long. In the long term, a lot of times these things will graduate to actual physical assault against you, against children, against other people. If someone in your life is doing this to you and justifying it because they've never hit you, I encourage you to seek out some kind of help. Call a victim's advocate, call a shelter, call the police, and get some help and get safe.
The moment a man throws something across the room or punches the wall, I am out of there. Because what a lot of people fail to realize is today it's the wall that he's punching. Tomorrow, babes, it's your face. Tomorrow, you're gonna be the one that's being flung across the room. And me personally, I don't have the time to be dealing with that nonsense. And I don't like pain. So honestly, I'm just gonna take myself out of that situation. You can deal with that. I do not want to be with somebody who cannot control their emotions. I do not want to be with somebody the moment they get upset, they want to be punching stuff. They want to be throwing things across the room. They want to be yelling. I'm okay.
Woo, that'll do it. You don't have to worry about me. You do not have to worry about me.
When fellows, if you are one of those guys that gets so angry that you punch holes in the wall, you are telling the world that you are not man enough and disciplined enough to control your urges.
Yep.
I have never in my life punched a hole in a wall out of anger.
Really?
Never, not once. Not
It's
once.
hot.
I've thrown things like as a
Right.
teenager in BPD episodes, but I've never punched a hole in the wall. And I think that part of that is because I watched my stepdad do it when I was little. I know one time he caught a 2x4 as he punched and broke his hand. So there's a lesson learned there that you don't punch things that could potentially hurt you more than you hurt it. I mean, it's basic common sense. But I know that if you are not able to control your temper enough that you are hitting things or kicking things or even screaming, you lack discipline. And you lack the ability to control your primal urges, which tells me a lot about you as a man. And I don't care how anyone takes that. For everyone that watches this, and I'm sure AJ is going to clip it, if you cannot control your violent urges or your anger, and you cannot keep your voice maintained, not be violent physically by throwing things or punching holes in the wall, I view you as less of a man.
There's a big difference between punching a wall in front of your partner in an argument and going downstairs to the basement and punching a punching bag, right? Because the message punching the wall is, look how much power I have. Look how much strength I have. And I have just enough control to not use that strength on you. Keep doing what you're doing. Next time I might not have that much control. Going down to the basement, removing ourselves, or going for a walk, going for a run, that's showing the person, I'm angry, but I have control over myself, and I'm going to go get this energy out so I can come back and talk to you.